In a quiet room in Berlin, scientists watched a screen. On that screen was a person's brain. And on that brain, a small flicker, 6 seconds before the person knew they were about to move. 6 seconds. Before the choice. Before the thought. Before the self. The scientists already knew what the person would do. The person did not. You think you're the one deciding to read this sentence. You're not. Or at least, not in the way you imagine. Somewhere beneath the surface of who you think you are, a darker machine is running. Faster than language. Quieter than thought. Older than you. And it has already made the next move. In 1983, a neuroscientist named Benjamin Libet asked his subjects to do something absurdly simple. Lift a finger, whenever they wanted. Just noticed the precise instant the decision arose in their mind. What he found broke something we hadn't realized was holding us together. The brain began to act roughly 350 milliseconds before the person felt the decision, not after, before. The choice wasn't a choice, it was a notification. For decades, scientists tried to explain it away. Maybe Libet was wrong. Maybe the equipment was imprecise. Maybe consciousness was just slow. Then, in 2008, a team at the Max Planck Institute ran the experiment again, this time with modern brain scanners. They didn't find 350 milliseconds. They found 7 seconds. Sometimes 10. Long before you decide to pick the cup with your left hand, the pattern is already written into your brain, like a sentence being typed by someone behind you. You feel the words appear. You believe you are speaking them. You're reading them aloud after the fact. But this is where it gets disturbing. The voice in your head, the one you call me, does not generate your decisions. It explains them. After, the brain makes the move. Then, it whispers a story to you about why. And you, the small witness sitting somewhere behind your eyes, believe that story so completely you build a life out of it. Why did you choose that job? Why did you fall in love with that person and not the one before them? Why did you say yes? Why did you stay? Why, at the worst moment of your life, did you reach for the thing that destroyed you? You don't know. You have never known. You have only known the explanation your brain offered afterward. Polished, edited, plausible. A script. Psychologists call it confabulation, a soft word for something monstrous. Patients with split brains, the corpus callosum severed, have been observed doing remarkable things. Show the left visual field a snowstorm, show the right a chicken claw. Ask them to point at related images. The left hand points at a shovel. The right hand points at a chicken. Now ask, why did you choose the shovel? The patient doesn't say, I don't know. The patient invents, oh, the shovel is to clean out the chicken coop. They are not lying. They believe themselves completely. The narrator inside their skull has done what narrators do. It filled the silence with a story. And here's the part almost nobody talks about. You have a split brain too, not surgically, structurally. The part of you that decides and the part of you that explains have never actually met. They communicate through rumors, and one of them, the explainer, is the one you call yourself. So when you replay your worst memory at 3 a.m., when you tell yourself you should have known better, when you punish yourself for choices you cannot understand, you are arguing with a ghost. The decider was already gone by the time the explainer arrived. What you call regret is just a story arriving late. But it gets stranger. If the decision is already made, by something below thought, below language, below the self, what is making it? Researchers point to networks, the basal ganglia, the prefrontal cortex, the default mode network, Webcep's pattern and habit and prediction. Your brain is not a chooser. It is a forecaster. Every second of every day, it is running thousands of tiny simulations of what is about to happen, what you are about to feel, what you are about to want, and then it bets. And then it acts on the bet. And then it tells you a story about the bet. You are not living your life. You are watching a movie of it. A movie generated by a machine that learned everything it knows from a child you no longer remember. That is the quietest horror of it. The decisions being made for you 6 seconds before you know. They are being made by someone. That someone is younger than you. Smaller. Shaped by every fear you absorbed when you were too young to refuse it. Every unspoken rule. Every glance from a parent. Every humiliation you swore you had forgotten. The child you used to be is still in there. Still pulling the levers, still afraid of things you are no longer afraid of, still trying to keep you safe from a world that ended decades ago. And the adult you call yourself spends a lifetime walking into rooms, wondering why you keep flinching. This is why people cannot change by deciding to change. The decider does not speak your language. You cannot reason with something that finished its sentence 7 seconds before you opened your mouth. You can only listen to it, notice it, sit with it long enough that it begins to trust you. This is what meditation actually is, not silence, but eavesdropping. This is what therapy actually is, not advice, but translation. This is what love actually is when it works, the long, patient work of teaching the child inside you that the room is safe now, that the door is unlocked, that nobody is coming. And so a question arrives that the philosophers have been circling for thousands of years. If you did not choose the choice, are you guilty of it? If the brain decides before the self, does the self exist? If you are only the story told after the fact, then who is the story being told to? There is something in there, something watching, something that reads these words right now and feels a small chill it cannot explain. That something is not the decider, that something is the witness. And it may be the only part of you that is actually free. Not free to choose, free to notice, free to disagree with the story, free to refuse to believe the explanation your brain just handed you. That is a smaller freedom than the one we were promised, but it might be the only one that was ever real. Tonight you will lie down in the dark, and in the silence before sleep a thought will arrive. You will not have chosen it. It will arrive already formed, fully grown, as if someone had been writing it for hours in a room you cannot enter. And you will believe it is yours. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. Maybe the question itself was decided 7 seconds ago by something deep inside you that has never once asked for your permission. Somewhere, in a laboratory, a screen is flickering. A scientist is watching a brain. And 6 seconds before the person on the table knows what they are about to do, the scientist already knows. You are that person. You have always been that person. The only thing left to decide is whether you can live with that.